Namaste, yogis. Welcome to my channel, Yoga with Penny. I'm Penny, and today's practice is just a full body stretch, holding our postures between 1 and 3 minutes, just to open up through all the layers of the body, the physical body, maybe even the emotional body, calming down the mind body. So grab your mat, a couple yoga props if you have a couple blocks, a blanket, and I have a bolster as well. But if you don't have a bolster, some firm couch cushions or something similar, or another folded up blanket will do just fine. All right, so we're gonna start out with a little shoulder opener. So take your blanket and get it into a rectangle shape, something like this. And if you have fringes on your blanket, start with the fringe end towards you and roll those fringes in. You don't want them to poke on your back. And just roll it up until you have a nice little roll, blanket roll. So we're gonna do a little opening through the shoulders to begin with. So this is going to go long ways on your blanket like this. And as always, if it's too high of a roll, once you get down there, you can roll to your side, sit up and unroll it a little bit to make the roll a little smaller to your degree. All right, so now further ado, we're gonna come down and bring our shoulder blades onto the blanket roll. You could support your head to bring it back. So if this is too much of an opening here, you're just gonna bend your knees, roll to your side and press yourself up and make it a smaller opening. All right, so what you do here, you settle the shoulder blades onto the blanket, goal post your arms and let those arms rest in line with the shoulders. Maybe you bring them down just a little bit. Again, if that doesn't work for you, you can bring your arms out into a T. And settle in. You're going to feel a nice opening. Your target areas to open through the shoulders and the heart. Make sure you're breathing. You can have your legs long like I do. Some people like to bend the knees and place the feet on the earth. In this pose, I don't like that too much, although a bound angle would be fine with the soles of the feet together and knees out to the side. Just find yourself sinking into the posture. Let gravity pull you in. So this is very much a full body stretch, but I want to bring the elements of Yin Yoga into it. So in Yin Yoga, there are 3 tenets, and I'm going to tell you about those in a minute so you understand your practice a little better. But first, just focus on your breath, in and out the nose. Feels good to do so. Allow the eyes to close, letting the external world slip away. Tapping into your internal world. Just notice the breath here. Notice the body. Notice any areas of tension in the body. Without doing anything about those areas of tension, just notice them, where they are. And again, at the end of your practice, notice if they're still there. Now, if you're in bound angle legs and that still feels good, stay there. Otherwise, bring the legs long. Heels on the earth. So the 3 tenets of Yin Yoga are first to find your edge. You don't want to go too far as the posture should not feel sharp or injurious, but you want to feel a deep stretch, sometimes uncomfortable stretch. So find your edge. And then the second tenet is stillness. So important to find stillness in your posture. It is stillness where the Yin Yoga works the deeper tissues, such as your fascia system, your joint capsule, tendons, maybe ligaments, all those deeper plastic tissues that are harder to stretch. And finding stillness in your posture also means finding stillness in the mind. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha is the very first of the sutras that I learned. That means yoga begins when the mind chatter stops. So it's important to try to quiet the mind in your stillness. And the final tenet of Yin is to hold it for a time. It takes the stillness and the time for the practice and the postures to work in Yin Yoga. You can set an intention for your practice here. If you notice your arms are becoming tingly, you can always fold your palms and place them on your belly for the last few breaths of this pose. And if you set an intention for your practice, state it in now time language. So if you are asking to be for peace, you would say to yourself 3 times, I am peaceful, as if it's already happened. Now, if you're in bound angle legs, bring the legs long. Place the heels on the earth. And I've always said, and some yogi instructors say this as well, there is a 4th tenet in Yin Yoga. It's always to come out of your postures mindfully. It prevents injuries in yoga because more injuries happen coming out of a pose, not going into a pose. So bend your knees, place your feet on the earth, and gently roll to your side facing your TV or whatever you're watching your video on. Rest in a fetal position in that way. And then just press that blanket roll out so you can reach behind, moving it out of the way. You'll need it again. And then roll onto your back, hugging those knees into the chest, massage out the back body, but also those shoulders that you just had on that blanket roll. Do that a couple more times. And then keep the right knee in, send the left leg long, left heel on the earth. Hug the right knee to the chest. Take your fingers, interlace around the shin, and draw the shin in towards the ribs, the right ribs, the outer ribs, and then press the shin into the bound fingers, creating a little counter pressure. Make sure you're breathing, slightly tucking your chin toward your chest. And then release that counter pressure. And then one more time, just draw that right knee towards the right arm. Pavanamuktasana. That is the name in Sanskrit. And the English translation is wind relieving pose. So this is really good for your digestion. As you're holding this, you're massaging the ascending colon. So let's give our spine a little twist. Take your left hand to the outer right thigh, right arm out like a wing, and roll that right knee over to the left side. Now bring both shoulders to the earth. If the right shoulder starts to pop up, bring that right knee back a little bit. You don't have to have the knee on the earth. In fact, it's probably better if you don't, especially if that shoulder is coming up. You can gaze up, or if it feels good, you can gaze to the right and breathe. In and out the nose, breathing deep into the belly. Coming back to center, hug both knees into the chest, and then switch. Right leg long, right heel on the earth, drawing the left knee in towards the outer left ribs. And then create that little counter pressure. Press the left shin into the bound fingers and pull the bound fingers into the left shin. Tuck your chin slightly towards your chest, shoulders back and down. And then release that counter pressure. Draw the left knee a little closer to the left armpit. Let's give our spine a twist in the opposite direction. Right hand to the outer left thigh, left arm out like a wing, and then roll. Your gaze can be up, or your gaze can be towards the left thumb. And just breathe.
One more big inhale here. Roll onto your back. So when you had your left knee in, you're massaging the descending colon. Now drawing both your knees in, see if you can wrap your arms around the knees, bringing them a little closer together. Tuck your chin slightly towards the chest. Coming to full Pavanabhaktasana, massaging the transverse colon and the rest of the digestive organs. Draw the sacrum towards the earth, breathing in and out the nose. And then release. Bring those feet mat width apart, goal post your arms, and do a couple of windshield wipers side to side of those knees. Internal and external rotation of the hips. And hug your knees into the chest and either rolling to the side and pressing yourself up, or if you want to, you can roll yourself up using the belly to pull yourself up. Coming into butterfly pose. So for butterfly pose, have the toes and the feet together, soles of the feet together, knees come out. If this is super tight on your hips, this is a great place to take your blanket, folded blanket, and place under your hips. Okay. And it elevates the hips and allows the knees to relax a little bit more. So always feel free to do that in your sitting postures when you're doing a Yin Yoga practice. All right. Draw the heels nice and close in towards the groin. Interlace the fingers around the toes, pull your heart forward, shoulders back and down. Inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward, keeping a long spine, no curling in the back, especially if you've had any back challenges today. You want to keep that spine nice and long. Inhale, and then exhale into it. Make sure you're breathing. If it feels good and you want to go further, you can crawl the fingertips out, maybe coming down to the forearms. And if the low back allows, you can curl in and take a few breaths here. Target areas, those inner thighs more. Now we're going to bring it more to the outer hips without adjusting it too much. We're going to basically use the same pose in just a minute. So today I'm going to hold the postures for about a minute, maybe two, just for time's sake. But if you're in these postures watching this video and you'd like to hit the pause button and hold up to 5 minutes, honor your body and give your body what it's asking for. But always respect your body as well. Again, no sharp and joyous pain. A deep stretch, maybe uncomfortable, is fine. Always gauge how your body's talking to you. The palms into the earth, lengthen the spine long, just long enough to come up. Now slide those heels forward. And take one of my blocks and have it for a little modification that you can do. Again, now, so my heels are about 15 inches away from my groin. So this is going to bring it more into the outer hips. That's the target area. You can come through with a long spine, start to come down, and if it feels good, you can curl in. If you want a little bit more, I love to take my feet onto a block here. Okay. And then come into it. Again, if you feel like your hips spilled back and that's not comfortable on your back, reach down and pull the flesh away from the sitting bones, and that helps to spill your pelvis forward and keep your low back safe. So here we go, and then just come into it to your degree. Breathing in and out the nose. Notice how those outer hips, that low back feel. Noticing the stretch. When you're ready to come out, plant the palms, lengthen the spine long. Slowly make your way up. If you have a block under your feet, move that block. Stretch those legs long and bounce the legs around, maybe windshield wiper. Come onto all fours. Pat your knees up if you do. Knees under hips, wrists underneath the shoulders for a few cycles of cat and cow. So inhale to your cow pose, drop the belly, bring the shoulder blades to kiss, little look up, raise the sit bones. Inhale. Exhale to your cat pose, tuck the chin towards the chest, pull the belly in, dome the spine, and press the earth away with the tops of your feet and your hands. And back into your cow pose, inhale. Exhale into your cat. Continue for a few more cycles. Now come back to neutral. Give your wrists a little stretch. So just turn those fingers to face the knees. If this doesn't feel good, like a good stretch, then turn the fingers back around and do a few more cycles of cat and cow like this. Just notice if you do have the fingers towards the knees, a stretch to the wrists and the lower arms, the forearms. Turn those palms back to face front. Just get a little side body stretch. Look over your right shoulder at your right heel. Inhale to center and then exhale to the other side. And just flow there just for a few cycles of breath. Stretching the quadratus, lumbar and the QL muscle, the side muscle that runs from your spine over to your hip. It's a hard one to stretch, so this is a really nice one. And then sit back on your heels. All right. So find a comfortable seat. Now we're going to go into Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. In Yin Yoga, it's known as caterpillar. So these poses have a lot of names, but it's the same pose, working the same area of the body, which is all of the back body, all along the back body, up into the back of the head, neck and head. So you can sit your bum on that folded blanket just to elevate the hips a little bit, but just make sure the sitting bones are resting on the blanket. So you don't want to come really far on your blanket. You want to scoot your butt forward just to the edge of it. And you'll feel your pelvis just go, go forward and then start to walk yourself forward. Okay? Long spine to begin with. So plant those hands, maybe stare at the big toes. You can flex the toes towards your face. That can give you a little bit of extra stretch into the plantar fascia, or you can let those toes relax and then just draw yourself in to your degree. And remember, one man's medicine is another man's poison. Don't try to get this far down in your pose if your body's not ready for it. Maybe you only come forward an inch. What matters is if you feel the pose where you're supposed to feel. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters where you feel it. You should feel it in the entire back body. You might feel the calves, the back of the legs, the back of the hips, up through the spine and into the back of the neck. That's what this stretches. Just breathe. Take a big inhale through the nose. And as you exhale through the mouth, see if you can sink a little lower in. Let gravity pull you in. Try not to pull your feet. Try not to pull yourself in. Gravity does the work in this type of a practice. Ready to come out, plant the palms, lengthen the spine long before you come up, pull the belly in and start to walk yourself up. Just notice any achiness, very normal to feel achy in our postures, in our yin postures when we come out. All right, plant the palms behind you, press the heart forward, roll those shoulders back and down, and bend the knees. Place the feet mat width apart. Just windshield wiper the knees side to side a couple times. So good. All right, hug the knees in, get your spine nice and long. Half hero pose, half saddle, same name for this pose. So I'm gonna actually, tuck my right leg behind first. Notice how this feels on your knee. Notice if your knee's sticking up, you want the knee to plant. Again, if the knee's coming up, elevate your hips on either a folded blanket or your block, okay? So this is one my body loves. So maybe this is good enough for you. Maybe you plant your palms, press your heart forward, roll the shoulders down, and you can stay here, okay? But if you want a little bit more, you can come down, back down onto your forearms. Your target area, you're gonna feel this. Since your right knee's bent, you'll feel this in the right quadricep, all the way through the inner knee. And if you can come all the way down onto your back. Your right heel's on the outside of your right hip, not tucked under. And then just take a couple breaths here, noticing how this feels. Okay. You might feel the stretch up into your right hip flexor as well. Shoulders are on the earth. If you're not really feeling this in the quad, my quads have been super open my whole life. It's my hamstrings are tight. So I'm not really feeling this in my right quad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my left knee, place the foot on the earth. That might be enough. Or you can bring that left thigh in, interlace the fingers around the left thigh. And now I can feel it. Make sure that right knee's not popping up off the earth. Wherever if it starts to pop up, go back to the last level and breathe. Now stay here as long as you like, but when you are ready to come out, you have that left thigh in, place the left foot on the earth, and then slowly lengthen that left leg long, press the elbows into the earth, and slowly press yourself up without that zigzag effect. So you want to come straight up, roll to the left hip, and release the right leg out. Shake them out a little bit before we go to the other side. And then let's do the other side. Again, each side might be different. So if you notice, this side's a little tighter and you need to elevate the hips and you did it on the other side, that's fine. Left knee stays on the earth. Maybe this is enough for you. If you're here, then you just roll the shoulders back, press the heart forward, gaze slightly down. So you don't want to throw your head back here. Maybe you come down to your forearms. Maybe you come all the way down and then you feel it. So I feel it a little deeper on this side sooner than I did on the other side. So that tells me that my left side maybe is just a little tighter than the right. Taking a couple breaths here, make sure that left heel is on the outside of the left hip, not tucked under. And if you want to go to that next level, first bend your right knee, place the right foot on the earth. If you want more after that, you draw in. I'm really feeling the side when I draw it in, so I'm not going to pull in too far. My knees remaining on the earth, my left knee. Slightly tuck my chin towards my chest, but keep the head on the earth. Shoulders relax against the mat. And breathe. Ready? If you have the right thigh in, place the right foot on Pause for a breath. Lengthen that right leg long. And then come out. Slowly press the elbows into the earth without the zigzag effect. Roll to your right hip. Send the left leg long. Bounce those legs around a little bit. Just feel that energy moving through. Maybe you feel a little bit more open through those inner knees and the quadriceps. All right. Cross your legs. We're going to come into Anahatasana. So have your blocks close by. In fact, put your blocks towards the top of the mat. And come to all fours. Hips are over knees. Feet disappear behind the knees. Start to walk yourself into your Anahatasana pose. Again, pad your knees up if you need to. Drop the forehead to the earth. The arms are long, so the target area is the upper back and also under the armpits along the inner arms. Forehead's on the earth. If this isn't enough for you, you can always take your blocks and reach your palms to the blocks and then bring yourself in. And breathe. And pay attention to the shoulders. Sharp tingles, sharp electric type tingles are not okay. Then you would bring your hands off of the blocks and back onto the earth. If this pose isn't right for you, just slide your hips to your heels, coming into a child's pose. And you can hang out there and wait. We're not going to be here too long. When you're ready to come out, start to slide the hips towards the heels. Draw the arms down by your side, coming into Garbhasana, which is a form of child's pose. Balasana is child's pose, meaning a little child would be, playing and then all of a sudden he falls asleep like this. Garbhasana is more of a fetal pose, like when you're in the womb and you're all curled up in the womb. Your arms are down by your side. Feel the tingles, feel the stretch, leaving the arms, the upper back, the shoulders. And then bring those knees just a little wider in your child's pose. Reach the arms forward, and we're going to thread the child. So I'm going to tuck my left arm under my left shoulder and my left ear on the earth. I'm going to take my right fingertips and walk them towards the top of the mat. So it's kind of the same stretch through that right arm that you got, but it's internal rotation of the left shoulder, which feels really nice. If you want to give that right shoulder a break, you can just float the palm, the right back of the palm right around your sacrum and just kind of rest there. And drop the right palm in front of your face. Lift back up into child's pose. And then thread the other side, tucking the right arm under, right shoulder, right ear to the earth. Again, that left arm can reach long, or you can float the left palm behind. The palm faces up. Just let it rest there. And coming out, planting the left palm on the earth in front of your face. Slide all the way back out to your child's pose. Bring those arms down by the side one more time. Forehead on the earth. And then press yourself up, getting ready for supported fish. A little bit like the pose we started with, except now we're going to open a little deeper through the heart and shoulders. So if you still have that blanket roll, you might want that. But I'm going to do fish on a block. So your 2 blocks, one is for your head, and you can have it on any level, 1, 2, or 3. This is 1, the low level, 2, middle, 3 is the highest level. All right, so I'm going to have mine on 1, and I'm going to take this block, and it's going to go right along my back, underneath the shoulder blades, right about where the bra line is, if you do wear a bra. And you're going to come back, find your head on this back block. And if you have to, you never get the block right to begin with. So just plant your feet. You can lift your hips up, just adjusting that block until it feels really good. So your target area is a big opening through the spine, opening through the heart, the shoulders. I let my palms rest on the earth, face up, and I relax here. And I love to hang out here sometimes 5 minutes or longer. So again, you have that pause button if you want to hang out here for more than a minute or so. That's in this video. Absolutely do it. Know if you have any sharp or injurious pain here, it doesn't feel good. All you have to do is bend the knees, place the feet on the earth, and roll into a fetal position and rest there. This isn't intense, but I don't want it to hurt. Bad pain. I want a good deep stretch. That might be uncomfortable, but you know it's going to be helpful to your body and not harmful. You notice you have tingles in your arms and they're too much for you. Sometimes I'll just take my arms down by my side in this pose, palms face up still, to externally rotate the shoulders. Again, when you're ready to come out, you bend the knees, place your feet on the earth and pause, and then slowly roll off your blocks or your blanket roll really carefully. Coming into a fetal position. So if you did that on your blanket roll, you would have nothing under your head. That blanket roll would just be like the shoulder block that we had. All right, you can reach back and remove whatever props you had back there. Roll onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, and you'd like to see what you're doing, and then rock side to side. Release out, because that's also a back bend, or that middle back, which doesn't bend as well as the low back. Right. Hug the knees into the chest. Take a big inhale. Nice long exhale. All right. Like that left foot on the earth, supine pigeon, cross the right ankle over the left knee. Maybe you stay here pressing that right knee away a little bit. You want a little bit more, just draw in that left thigh. You can take the right elbow and push that right knee away. Notice how your knee feels, your right knee. You can always point the toes and then flex the toes back. It's called a floint. And then draw that big toe mound towards the inner right knee, creating a little pressure with the right ankle on the top of the left knee. Just like 20% pressure will activate that right glute. So outer hip is the target area here. Outer right hip. holding as long as you want. When you're ready, release that left foot to the earth. Continue to cross the right leg over the left. Bring your arms out to the side on the earth. Twisted roots, so just let those knees drop all the way to the left. Now pay attention to that right shoulder. If it's popping up, you can take one of those blocks and place it underneath the knees, just till that right shoulder comes back to the earth. So this target area is for the spine, but you're also going to feel it in the outer right hip. You can gaze up, you can gaze to the right. And bringing that gaze back up. If you had the head turned, draw your belly in, roll that right hip back to the earth, uncross the legs, and hug the knees into the chest. And then let's set up for the other side. Plant the right foot, cross the left ankle over the right knee, top of the knee. You can stay here, pressing that right thigh away. That left knee away. Roy already did the right side, so press the left knee away. If you want a little bit more, you can draw that right thigh in, and you can thread. If you thread, interlace the fingers around the shin, right shin or thigh, pressing the left elbow into the left knee will intensify the stretch a little bit. Point the toes, flex the toes back. Point the left foot, but just bring the toes back and draw that big toe mound towards your left inner knee. So the left big toe mound, just invert that foot to the inner left knee, and then create that little bit of pressure with the left ankle on top of the right, just like 20%. Hang out. Notice if your left hip feels this a little more intense than your right did, or maybe not as much. Maybe they're equal. And then release the bind, bring the right foot to the earth, continue to cross the left leg over the right, arms out to the side, dropping those knees to the right. Watch that left shoulder. If it starts to pop up, I'm going to place a block underneath the knees on the right side. Gaze can be up or a gaze can be left. You can have your arms in goalposts if that feels good, maybe out into a T. Settle in for a few breaths. And then bring that gaze back up towards the ceiling. Draw your belly in as you roll that left hip back down. Uncross the legs, hug the knees into the chest. One quick happy baby pose. You can grab the big toes of the peace fingers or just bring your hands to the inner or outer feet. Draw the tops of thighs towards the earth. Tuck your chin slightly towards your chest, but keep the head on the earth. Tops of the thighs draw towards the earth. Sacrum draws towards the earth. So neutralizing the spine. That is your target, your spine. And hug your knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. If your body feels good, go ahead and let yourself come long into your Shavasana pose just for a minute or so, just to allow all the changes to take effect that you just did in your yoga practice. Feel how heavy your body is against the earth. Let gravity pull you in. Notice how quiet the breath is, how soft the heartbeat is, how quiet the mind is. And when you're ready to come out of Shavasana, just start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Eventually bringing those arms up into our head, stretch 2 or 3 times like you're waking up. Inhaling as you stretch, exhaling as you release. And then walk the knees into the chest. Next time you exhale, give yourself a hug here, roll to your side, and press yourself up into a seated position. Keeping the eyes closed, come to an easy seat. Bringing your hands to heart center. Grow tall out through the low back. So lift out of the low back and bring your shoulders down. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope you have a blessed day. Light in me bows and honors to the divine light in you. Namaste.